Good afternoon, everybody. This is Chrisi from Solstice ATR and Vulcan Capital Research. Hope everybody's doing great on this long weekend. It's President's Day Monday, so US and Canada will be closed. Other than the Euro and Asia markets and Australia will be open. And, we'll have a short session on futures, but try not to trade. Just enjoy it. We come back Tuesday for the short week to trade what we see, not what we think. And we do have quite a bit of gaps down here. We had a nice week up, and the week before we had an up week. Even on the coronavirus, people are still, thinking that the Federal Reserve Board, the China pumping more money, whether they call it a QE or not, and keeping interest rates low. The market is happy and they seem to be content to drag it more higher. So let's break it down from the weekly. We can see we have an up channel. We're still intact on the daily chart. What I'm going to do, I can show you that white channel here, this white channel, which is the major. We just retested it and we broke out of it. But the inside of it, we have a narrow channel to the upside, and on the shorter time frame, from September, we're still in an uptrend. We haven't tested it. We have two other minor ones in here continuing higher. Do I see 34.15 area, 34.25 to be tested? Yes. Is there a possibility to continue? Yes. If it's something happens and change in trend, trade. Your trend is your friend. Trade what you see, not what you think. And do I see resistance around the 34.55, 50 area? Possibility. You can do the opposite side when we get up in that area, but I'm not suggesting a short, but trade what we see, okay? Let's go down and break it on a 4-hour chart or a 20-day 78-minute chart. We can see that we had that roundness, of the fear, what happened in the market. Then we continued higher the following week and the next week. This is from Monday. What I'm going to do is grab Monday throughout the whole week that we had, and we can see that Monday we had an up day. Tuesday we had an overnight gap. We filled partial gap. We filled the prior Monday. We retested and push above, and we close above it. Then on Wednesday, we continue higher in the overnight. We grind higher and we finish at an annual high. Then on Thursday morning before the action, we woke up on Asian, crisis. There's more death, more fear, something's going wrong. We had the consumer, confidence in the PMI reports and stuff, and we continued higher and we closed at an annual high here. We look at a prior high and we closed in the same range as Wednesday. Then on Friday, we gap up in the overnight. We come back, retest the inside value area. We spend most of the day inside, the Thursday, Wednesday, and Tuesday action. Then we ended up closing at basically the prior highs. We closed a little bit above the Thursday close. So more or less, we're still in an uptrend. If we can clear this channel, we're going to look for the upside. I'm going to show you how it looks like. And if we fall below, the 34.48, 33.65 area, the 48, look for the downside. And this would be the first support at the 33.28, 33.10. This would be the partial gap here. And if we continue higher, look for the 3400 round number, 34.10, 34.15 before we can come back lower. I'll just zoom in down. And this is why I'm calling the 15 to 25 area, this range here. If not, we'll look for this side of the market, okay? So what we can do is taking a look at this on a regular time frame and using Fibonacci's to give you an idea how the market acts in the overnight and why we got support in this area. We can take a fib. We can come here, grab a drawing. We use a Fibonacci. That's a Fibonacci retracement. I'll anchor this high here in the overnight. Anchor this high in the overnight low on Friday, which was 33.72, and the other one was 88.50. I may be a little off by 1 cent. So what I can do is edit the properties, right click on it, edit properties. It's 72, so it was correct. So I can zoom in and show you how it acted that day on the push back up. If you notice, we came back, retraced 100% of the move. We fell down to the 38.2 fib. We hit it by what? 1 tick lower, 2 ticks lower, 33.65 quarter. The fib was 33.6575. When we cleared the 68, we continued back up to fill 100% of the overnight gap. And where did we come back to close? At the 50% where most volume profile was in the time of sale. If I come in here, change this just to show you the monkey bars, you can use monkey bars to understand where the value area high is, where the value area low is, and the puck where most of the time price was spent. This is where most of the time was spent. And where did we come back to the value area high? And we closed where? At the 30, 80, 50, where we're in the value area high. This was the two value area high, value area low, and puck. And if you notice on Thursday we had a wider range inside the Wednesday's range. The puck shifted higher, but on Friday the puck didn't shift higher. The time shifted higher. Are we going to continue higher? Possibility. So what we can do is take a Fibonacci from low to high to know where the extensions are if we're going to extend to the high. So I grab the high, which is 38.50, 33.88.50, there it is. And I anchor this to the 72, what was it, 65 quarter. Come on, a little bit more, a little bit more. Come on. Okay, we can edit it. So what I can do is edit the property. This was 5.0, and this is 2.5. So in order to get the correct extensions to the upside, we know where the levels are. So what I can do, go back to from monkey bars to where? Standard candles. And that fib will show up here. If I'm going to look for the extension of it, so I'm going to take this one out because that was the day before. Remove this one, remove drawing. So we keep that one on. Where is my extension? As long as we're above the 72 area, we're going to continue higher, probably to the 33.92 and 3400. If we end up losing it, and 50% of that move would be around 33.95.50. Unless the trend changes, then we retrace 100% of that move and we can't clear this channel, and the overnight action will fall back down to here. And I'm using Fibonacci's kind of to give you an idea how to look at the value area highs and lows and the time of sale in order to understand the price action, how we retrace from one point to the other on each day that we have removed drawing. And I can show you the night before we had this action here, the low to where the high was here. Look how nicely it acted the 50% fib when we retraced to this area. We ended up getting a nice bounce back, and we continued back higher to the prior consolidation in the range. So understand that these levels can be done in overnight actions. And if I remove this drawing and I use the overnight both days, remove drawing, and I use the both nights high and low, look how nicely it acted. The support and resistance when we came back and retraced to this area, the 61 did hold. We cleared the 50 to come back to the 38 and the 23%. Where did we end up closing? Right above the 18 simple moving average. So usually look for trends, use 2 days for direction and the direction of the move where the strength is, and technicals will help you. So I don't want to keep this too long, but I'm going to go over a couple of instruments very fast, and we'll call it a day so that way you can enjoy your weekend. Go back to daily. And we're going to go from ES to NQ just to show you how it looks like. Nice uptrend. We go to RTY. Small cap had a little bit of weakness on Friday, but it looks like it's doing that cup and handle. If it's going to continue or come back in, keeps eye on the small cap. The Dow has not been able to clear the, that fast range, but it's still in an uptrend. We had consolidation on Thursday. Friday couldn't even, come back and close inside, but we looked inside the Wednesday's range But Friday we couldn't, go back to the Friday's inside, Thursday's range in it. So if I look at the NQ one more time, it had a nice move up, and we showed you the RTY. Let's take a look at GC. GC seems to be interesting. It's inside that consolidation in a triangle. In order to continue higher, I would like to see GC clear that 1600 in order to continue up to this up channel here. This wedge was actually broken, no longer valid, but we do have a symmetrical triangle in here. If it falls below the 1560, 1555, look for the 50 SMA and the 116, which is the 61.8. If we clear the 1600, 1598, 1600, we can continue to the upside on GC. Let's take a look at the oil, CL. CL, came back down, consolidated, and looking to break above those, four tops here. If we can clear the 53.75, I think the 54.75 would be critical to the 56 and maybe, consolidate in order to continue. And if we do fail, be careful of that 51.10 area or 15.80 area. If we lose that area, then we come back down. Let's take a look at AAPL. AAPL, it's in consolidation the last 2 days. Amazon had a look up, came back in after the earning. We still have that island. I think, if it consolidates around the 2190, 2100, maybe going back up. But I'm not saying to go long or short Amazon. I'm just showing you what the overall is. Facebook, consolidation after that earning report fell down, trying to clear the 61.8. If it can, it's part of this gap. You can see that island from here to here is still partial, hasn't filled. So can it come back to this area? The 21 to 218 would be critical on it. Let's take a look at Google. Google, is consolidating, going sideways, baselining. If it's going to continue, watch the market in order to push higher. If not, it'll come back down. And FLX, we called it last week in the group, and I said, hey, keep an eye on Netflix coming back to that area, the 285, 290, which we tested very nicely back up. That was a nice push up from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and this is the Friday inside candle. Is Netflix most of the move done? Possibility, but just keep an eye on it. Let's take a look at Tesla. I had called Tesla. Tesla didn't, it stayed sideways. It couldn't push above the 820 area, hasn't been able to clear the 845, 850 area in order to continue. If it loses the 730 or 725, be careful of it. So on either side. We called BA that week. I said, hey, keep an eye on Boeing. I'll show you Boeing, how it did, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday consolidation. If it's going to create like a shoulder here, this is the head of it. This is the shoulder. Look for reversal to clear the 52, 51 area. If it falls back and cannot hold the 320, 332, 328 area, be careful of Boeing. And let's take a look at the example, Visa. Visa's an annual high. MA is an annual high. AXP is resetting a little bit, trying to continue higher. American Express, take a look at Goldman Sachs. I'm just going through some of the banks and see Goldman Sachs is in consolidation, flagging. If it falls below the 235, be careful of it. Let's take a look at BLK, BlackRock. At an annual high, came back, reset a little bit on Thursday and Friday. The banks were a little bit weaker that day. Let's take a look at ZB, the bond market, which I haven't looked at for a while. This is the Treasury note, 30-year Treasury note. If you can see it, it's consolidating. Is this the shoulder? Is this the shoulder? This is the head of it. Is this forming a shoulder to continue higher or fail? Depends on interest rates, what they do to them. And the ZN shows it as well in there. /ZN, that's the 10-year note as well. So we're going to trade what we see, not what we think. You can check us out on Discord or Solstice ATR on our website. If there's anything we can do to help you in your 2020 trading goals, please ask us how. And have a great weekend and see you on Tuesday. Over and out.